Okay, colleagues, good afternoon, and could I welcome you all to today's meeting of the ad hoc committee. The meeting is open to the public and will be broadcast throughout Parliament buildings. We're joined in the room by Gary Middleton, Daniel McCross, Kathy Mason, Padraig Delargy and John Stewart, and online by Paula Bradshaw, so we don't have any apologies at this stage. Declarations of interest, members, are there any in addition to the stand-in one that we have previously agreed? None. Okay. Chairperson's business, members. The end of the committee stage for the bill is the 1st of April, and it will be necessary to seek an extension to committee stage to allow the committee to complete its consideration of the bill and prepare its report. Are members content to consider a motion to extend the committee stage at next week's meeting? Great. Okay, thank you. Draft minutes then, members, are at page 6 of the meeting pack. Are members content that that's a true and accurate reflection of our meeting on the 25th of February? Great, okay. Thank you. Matters arising, members. So at last week's briefing session with Reyes, there was some discussion about the differences in devolved powers across the legislatures. Members will have taken some time, I have no doubt, to have a look at some of the responses that have been considered to date to the public call for evidence, and there was a pretty common theme in terms of the level of the devolved powers here in Northern Ireland and how that may or may not compare with other parts of these islands. Obviously, we know that the Northern Ireland Assembly does have, in fact, additional powers to some other devolved legislatures, but it may be useful for the committee just to commission some research from Reyes so that we can have that in their on our table papers next week, and then publish that on the committee website for ease of reference for those who wish to carry out the call for evidence. Are members content that we do that? Thank you.
Just check it.
Oh, yes, sorry. Paula, can you hear me okay, sorry?
Yes, thank you.
No problem. We're then going to move to item 5, which is a report from the Examiner of Statutory Rules, and receive some legal advice, as is normal practice for a committee to receive legal advice in closed session. Are members content that we do that? Agreed? Okay, thank you.
Committee Room 29. Sound. 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 Committee Room 29. Sound.
Okay, and we'll thank Angela for the legal advice that she has provided to the committee. Are members content then that we note the correspondence from the Committee on Standards and Privileges that was just referenced? Okay, thank you. Are members content then that we forward that to the Assembly Commission to obtain its views in advance of its next oral briefing? Yep. Members content on that? Okay, and that this correspondence from the Committee on Standards and Privileges will be referred to in the committee's report and published on the web page. Okay, item 6 then is Assembly members consider remuneration bill consideration of written evidence and refer members to the clerk's memo at tab 6 of the meeting pack. Advised that 56 responses have been received to the committee's call for evidence on citizen space as of the 27th of February when the papers were created, and that the closing date for responses to the call of evidence is the 19th of March, and a full analysis of the response received will be prepared for the committee's consideration and will be reflected in the committee's report. The members want to comment on any of the responses received to date? I just wanted to check one, Clark. So I see in the ones that have been provided to us, people's names and email addresses. I assume that will not be published on
That won't be published. We're required, Chair, to provide unredacted information to the committee. Sure. But we're working on including those redactions, and they'll be included before it's published on the website.
And from some of these, the vast majority of these responses seem to be raising similar issues, and indeed some seem to be based on a template. Will that be referred to just in terms of when we're analysing the responses that have been received, the commonality?
Yes, Chair, if the committee so wishes, we can do that. In the
I just think it's useful to have unique responses and then also copy and paste responses. Members content with that? Okay, thank you. Correspondence then, members are at tab 7 of the meeting pack. Are members content to note those? Yep. Okay. And sorry, I should have asked, are members content to publish the 56 responses on the committee's webpage to date so far? Okay, perfect. Forward draft work plan, anything you want to mention at this, Jim?
Chair, the House of the Oireachtas have been invited to provide written evidence, so they're content to do that. The Scottish Parliament also agreed to provide written evidence, although that might take some time, so it might not be available for a little while. And the Independent Remuneration Board of the Senate in Wales, they've indicated they prefer not to provide oral evidence, but would rather just provide written evidence. The committee are content with that.
We are content with that. And then next week's meeting then is at 10 o'clock to accommodate the Independent Parliamentary Standards Authority, isn't that correct?
That's true, Chair.
Okay. And then are we planning then to meet in the afternoon for the research that Ray's will have produced in relation to...
We can check if they can have the research for next week, Chair, but it might be the following week.
Okay. No problem at all. So at our meeting next week, we'll have the Independent Parliamentary Standards Authority and then consider the motion to seek an extension of the committee stage. That's what's planned for next week? Okay. And then if possible, try and have Ray's as well, depending on their availability to produce that research. Okay. Are members content with that? Yep. Okay. Is there any other business that members want to raise? I just have one. So the clerk has drafted a summary table of evidence received. The table will be updated following today's meeting and included in an electronic bill folder along with all relevant evidence received by the committee. A link to the folder will be issued to members once the table has been updated. The purpose of the table is to assist members in the scrutiny of each clause in the bill by summarising the evidence received under each clause. And our clerk team will continue to update that on a moving basis. So for content with...
There is a hard copy here if members want to have a look at it, but you will be issued with an electronic copy.
Okay. And then we will then, as agreed, meet next week at 10 a.m. to discuss those two issues, and hopefully we'll have a research from Ray's then as well. Okay. Members content? Okay. We'll see you all next week then. Thank you very much indeed.
Committee Room 29. Sound. Committee Room 29. Sound.